But if you understood any world besides your own, you would understand your own very much better.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jacob Harris, and I want to welcome you to the inaugural episode of what is going to be called the Bulldog Review Podcast. I'm hoping that this is going to be the first in a long line of episodes, the premise of which is my love of the English language and what it can do. This love of the English language is what inspires me to write, but it also inspires me to want to share with other people the works of English literature that I find especially moving. So I'm going to be reading to you my own writings, as well as the poetry and fiction of others, and just give my rambling thoughts on all of the above. Now, I've been thinking for a long time about how and when I want to start this series, when I want to kick it off, and I settled on today for a number of reasons. First of all, it's just this is the first time that I could sit down and really take the time to pontificate on an idea to my satisfaction. But second and more important, tonight is election night in the United States. And so I know I'm not the first to express this sentiment, but I feel that today is something. There is this event going on called the United States elections, and I'm not experiencing it as a time when the whole nation comes together and chooses their leader. My experience is something more like a natural disaster, some inexorable exterior force on the horizon looming over us that will imminently wash over all of us, whether we like it or not. It doesn't feel like something that we as a people actually participate in. It feels more like something that, we have about as much control over our agency and as much as an earthquake. And to me, this speaks to a fundamental defect in American politics, and really a defect in modernity itself. I think that a lot of us in our hearts yearn for a king. We yearn for someone who is truly regal, someone who in their person has the air of a ruler. And this, of course, brings us to the Arthurian legends, which is a body of work that I have been elbows deep in for 6 months. My favorite version of these legends comes from Alfred Lord Tennyson. His poem is called Idylls of the King. It's 300 pages of blank verse, and it is absolutely exquisite. And so in this first chapter, we get a picture of the marriage and coronation of King Arthur. And I, in light of this feeling of this overwhelming event of the United States elections, I wanted to read a chapter or a passage from Tennyson regarding the coronation of Arthur. So, we begin. Then Arthur charged his warrior whom he loved and honored most, Sir Launcelot, to ride forth and bring the queen, and watched him from the gates. And Launcelot passed away among the flowers, for then was latter April, and returned among the flowers in May with Guinevere, to whom arrived by Dubric the high saint, chief of the church in Britain, and before the stateliest of her altar shrines, the king that morn was married, while in stainless white, the fair beginners of a nobler time, and glorying in their vows and hymn, his knights stood around him, and rejoicing in his joy. Far shone the fields of May through open door, the sacred altar blossomed white with May, the sun of May descended on our king. They gazed on all earth's beauty and their queen, rolled incense, and there passed along the hymns, a voice as of the waters, while the two swear at the shrine of Christ a deathless love. And Arthur said, Behold, thy doom is mine. Let chance what will, I love thee to the death. To whom the queen replied with drooping eyes, King and my lord, I love thee to the death. And holy Dubric spread his hands and spake, Reign ye, and live and love, and make the world other, and may thy queen be one with thee. And all disorder of thy table round fulfill the boundless purpose of their king. So Dubric said, But when they left the shrine, great lords from Rome before the portal stood, in scornful stillness gazing as they passed. Then while they paced the city all on fire, with sun and cloth of gold, the trumpets blew, and Arthur's knighthood sang before the king. Blow trumpet, for the world is white with May. Blow trumpet, the long night hath rolled away. Blow through the living world, let the king reign. Shall Rome or heathen rule in Arthur's realm? Flash brand and lance, fall battle-axe upon helm. Fall battle-axe and flash brand, let the king reign. Strike for the king and live. His knights have heard that God hath told the king a secret word. Fall battle-axe and flash brand, let the king reign. Blow trumpet, he will lift us from the dust. Blow trumpet, live the strength and die the lust. Clang battle-axe and clash brand, let the king reign. Strike for the king and die, and if thou diest, the king is king, and ever wills the highest. Clang battle-axe and clash brand, let the king reign. Blow, for our son is mighty in his May. Blow, for our son is mightier day by day. Clang battle-axe and clash brand, let the king reign. The king will follow Christ, and we the king, in whom high God hath breathed a secret thing. Fall battle-axe and flash brand, let the king reign. Just a stirring song, a blood-stirring chant for the king. So sang the knighthood, moving to their hall. There at the banquet those great lords from Rome, the slowly fading mistress of the world, strode in, and claimed their tribute as of yore. But Arthur spake, Behold, for these have sworn to wage my wars, and worship me their king. The old order changeth, yielding place to new. And we that fight for our fair Father Christ, seeing that ye be grown too weak and old to drive the heathen from your Roman wall, no tribute will we pay. So those great lords drew back in wrath, and Arthur strove with Rome. And Arthur and his knighthood for a space were all one will, and through that strength the king drew in the petty princedoms under him, fought, and in 12 great battles overcame the heathen hordes, and made a realm and reigned. I mean, first of all, isn't that just lovely poetry? It's with the sun and cloth of gold, the trumpet, all on fire with sun and cloth of gold. We're talking about there passed along the hymns a voice as of the waters. It's just stunning. But notice the mood of the people, that the ascension of Arthur is a cause for joy and celebration. There's not this sense of unease and uncertainty that we're feeling right now on election day. This is a king for all the people. Where is it? It says, And if thou diest, the king is king, and ever wills the highest. This is a king for all of the people. They aren't electing him. They don't have a say in who gets chosen to be king. And yet there is this sense that in Arthur's ascension to the throne, something good has happened to them. And of course the rest of the story goes on to tell about how the kingdom of Camelot eventually fell and how it could never last. But at least at the beginning there was hope. And if there once was hope, then there's always hope. And, I'll be exploring this theme of the crumbled castle and this lost age of chivalry in much greater depth, because I think that it's one of the reasons why fantasy moves us all so deeply, because it touches on this longing that I think we as a culture feel within ourselves, a longing for a true king. And of course, all of this I think speaks to an even deeper instinct within us, because in many ways Arthur and Guinevere function as icons of Christ the King and his unfaithful people. It's very similar to the ways that they're depicted in the prophets. All that to say, regardless of your political beliefs, regardless of who wins, then I don't care. There's something deeper behind politics that we can all look to as this impending storm of the U.S. elections falls upon us, and as the next president ascends to the White House. I hope that something of the spirit of the faultless king might possess them and imbue them with some sort of wisdom, some sort of royal gravitas. So that's all I have to say for now. I hope this was something you've enjoyed. I haven't quite figured out my sign off yet, so for now I'll just say be well, and I will see you on the next one.